We touched briefly on the Hotbox in the last section. Let me show you a little bit more about it. It's a very handy interface tool. I'm going to go ahead into, just pick a window here, and I'm just going to tap my space bar to bring that up. And now if I hold the space bar, you see it brings up something called the Hotbox. Now what the Hotbox is basically a very fast way to get into a lot of different menus. If you noticed on the top menus here, we actually have to go through animation, modeling, dynamics, and so on, just to get access to all of these different menus. So in some respects, it could be actually 2 steps. So you have to select the menu and then go to the menu itself. One thing I do want to show you is that you can tear off menus. So if I have a menu here, all I have to do is double click on this little bar, and that can actually tear off menus. So in some respects, you can have different menus open. So if you're modeling, you could actually have something like that open and keep it up all the time if you're moving between these. But the Hotbox is probably even a better way of doing it, because all you have to do is press and hold the space bar from within a viewport, and you can pretty much get to any menu. So I can go to Edit NURBS here. I can do Constraints. And in addition, the Hotbox has a couple of additional menus that you don't have. For example, it has this one called Recent Commands. So if I do something in Maya and I want to do it again, all I have to do is just go over here to Recent Commands, and it'll have a list of probably my 10 or 20 most recent commands. We also have the ability to switch our viewports here. So if I click and hold here, I can just go to my perspective view. I can go to a side view. I go to top view. Now, one thing that's really nice is that you can actually make this almost like gestural. So you can just hold the space bar, and just if you slap your mouse to top, left, right, or bottom, you can pretty much get perspective, top, side, and front. So if I want my front view, I just hold down my space bar and drag and release, and I've got my front view. Drag and release up, you've got your perspective view. So that's, you'll see a lot of people, and you can get to the point where you can drag it so fast that you won't even see what's going on. And a lot of times you'll see people working with Maya, and you'll see a flash of something and the screen will change, and it's because they're so used to Maya that they're just basically doing it almost as fast as they can think. So some more customizations that you can do with the Hotbox are, we have over here what are called Hotbox controls. Now, if you want, you don't have to show all of this. You could just show, for example, I could show modeling only, and then it would just show just my modeling tools. I could, for example, just show rendering only, and it would show only the rendering stuff. I could have, for example, modeling and rendering by doing a show or hide of modeling. So now I have modeling and rendering. I could do show all. I also have different styles of Hotbox. I can turn off my menu rows and just have what are called the zones, which are basically just my perspective and side views. Or I can have what's called center zone only, which basically just brings up just that. I keep it on zones and menu rows. For these lessons, I'll pretty much keep it with everything turned on, so you can pretty much see where I'm going at. But a lot of times people will turn off the ones that they don't need. If you never use Cloth or you never use Maya Live, then you can probably just turn those off and save yourself a little bit of screen real estate. Now there's some other types of menus that you can use within Maya, and those are called marking menus. So for example, if I click on an object, so for example, if I select this chair and I right-click, it will bring up what's called a marking menu. Now this will be context specific. This will be specific to the type of object that you have. This particular object is a polygonal object. So for example, if I wanted to edit the vertices of this object, in fact, let's go ahead and zoom in here. I could just click on that and say go to vertices, or I could edit the faces of the object. I'm going to turn on shading here so you can see what's going on. Or if I want, I can just go back to object mode. Same here. This is a actually a NURBS object, and we'll learn a little bit more about that later. But this has a different set of options. This has control vertices. It has what are called hulls. So you can see that because it's a different type of geometry, it has different options. And we can always go to object mode. So just by right-clicking over any object, you have a whole selection of context-sensitive menus. This can be very handy in speeding your workflow. And those are called marking menus.